included or posted the pages that are called Stream Health on the county's webpage, I guess it is. I forwarded it on to you, Muriel. So but I did it just a couple of minutes ago, so it may not even have reached you yet. But it's got several pictures of streams, people canoeing and all. And seems like it's something we could have on as people are gathering when we have our Sunday seminar. Just
Oh, what a good idea.
how
Yeah.
important stream health is. A few photographs to remind people. Yeah, but otherwise, Pat, I did share this with Muriel, but Liz Palmer can't be with us, but her concern is that the county is not enforcing its regulations. And that's somehow I have a touching animated short film about depression going on my machine. So excuse me if I'm a little bit disconcerted here. I don't know where that came from. So let's try going back to what Liz had. But oh, I see. Actually, it came from your webpage, your Facebook. But my internet connection broke apart, and then they now tell me it's restored. So things are hopping around.
Oh, yeah, I might have shared it on our league's Facebook site.
Okay. So I'll get out of Facebook and get back to, there we go. So there's a discussion, a summary, follow-up of the Stream Health Project discussion with Palmer and Malik. And there were the web pages, and that's what I just talked about. We asked for people at this meeting to come forward. We did get some responses, but we need to find out what the county is doing and also the Soil and Water Conservation District. So that was what we were hoping that Liz could help us with, particularly with what the county is doing. And then we'll see what we can learn about the Soil and Water Conservation District. But we have here a Stream Health Initiative project discussion with supervisors Ann Malik and Liz Palmer, notes by Kim Bassioli. Key concerns expressed during the meeting were the following: lack of knowledge about the problems among residents and need for education first. So that will be something that we can be helping with. Recommend providing education and background information about the problem before trying to address it. There's a need to address agricultural impacts in the rural areas. Recommend exploring a policy update in models in other localities. Recommend also focusing on partnerships and identifying solutions with the Soil and Water Conservation District and other local organizations. New establishment of mini farmettes, which are not bona fide agriculture, is common in the rural area.
Mini what?
Small farms, farmettes.
Oh, mini farmettes. Oh.
It's common in the rural areas, and those are new landowners that need to be educated. I suspect the issue is that people, they've lived 25 years in Manhattan and have decided, I really want to be a farmer. And so they buy 5 acres and they say, we are now farmers, and they don't know anything, certainly not how to take good care of their soil and runoff and all of that. I think that's what they're referring to. that that's a growing problem. And I can well imagine that even COVID has exacerbated that, because at least what you read is that there are more and more people deciding that they'd like to move out into the countryside.
That's a good point, Sally. That's a scary thought. And the lack of knowledge. That's like people buying boats who have no idea what the laws are and get out there and wreak havoc.
Then the fourth bullet. In the engagement process in 2017, there was a lack of diverse participants and stakeholders at the table. There's concern that staff may be repeating the same process and getting the same responses, which I can well imagine. You do what you know how to do. The fact that it didn't have any effect last time might not keep you from doing it. Can you two talk just a minute? My other phone is ringing and it might be lit, so I'll get it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, another totally, well, related but different thing that I did want to talk to you about was editing the MP4 films. It apparently, how can I put this? I was going to say it is fairly easy. There is access to editing software. And I think if you have a Mac, it
Yeah.
has the software embedded as part of it.
Hi, Linda, this is Sally. I know you just called and I grabbed my phone too late. Are you having trouble getting on?
I don't have a link.
Don't have a link.
I didn't get
Okay,
an email or anything I've gone through all of my emails.
okay. I can send it to you pretty quickly.
And I was starting to feel left out.
I'm sure you were. My goodness. What is your email address?
It is Linnie, Linnie.
Okay,
See
got it.
it, got it. Okay.
All right. It is on its
All righty. Thanks.
way.
See you in a minute.
Good. Bye.
Bye.
Hello? I've never had both computers plus both
Plus
telephones
the phone, yeah, all
going all at the same time. Luckily, that last phone call was for George and he picked it up. So, and the one before that, I guess you get it, was Linda saying she didn't have a notification. And so I sent on to her what I have.
I thought she was on the list. Pat, you're muted.
I'm sorry that happened.
She's not on the list?
She's not on the list.
Oh,
I don't know. I apologize. That's probably my fault. Forgive me.
We will certainly forgive you.
right. I just could have sworn I saw everybody's name on the list. She wasn't on the first one either?
Well, I don't know, but she seems not to have gotten it. And what I have in front of me doesn't have her. It has the phone number, the phone numbers, and B and Pat and Liz and me and you and C Hawk. Oh, PEC. Oh, right. That young man. Okay. Anyway. There are just a couple of more points here in this response, this Kim's report on the meeting. There needs to be work with partners such as the Soil and Water Conservation District to coordinate stream health improvement efforts. The county could increase its promotion of existing partner programs to help make landowners more aware of existing opportunities. And recommendation for family activities to get out and adventure, survey the streams to monitor local stream health.
Hmm.
And there's lack of detail in staff reports to the Board of Supervisors. Request more detailed information. Then there's some staff feedback. They say that a detailed engagement plan has been developed, will continue to be updated.
What kind of plan? Stream health? I didn't.
Well, no, it's an engagement plan that has been,
Oh, engagement.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. and they're going to try to start public input early January to evaluate where we are and what may have changed since 2017. They realize that there's a lack of clarity in existing water protection policies and need for public education. They can directly message things. They can talk to landowners. And they'll have to figure out additional education opportunities for the public. It is spinning, says Linda Goodling. It is spinning. What in the world? I don't understand.
Yeah, Pat, you're muted.
I'll send it to her again, okay? Give me a minute.
Yeah, Sally, while you're on that, I dropped the ball here, I think somewhere, because I can't remember answering her, but Kim sent me an email message about a month ago, and it was about somebody coming from the league, from our committee, or not coming, but being kind of the touch point, contact point for Kim, and I guess the other people in the environmental, whatever they're called, division there. And she said she had Peggy Gilgies down as our contact. And I know I was going to tell her, keep getting in touch with Peggy, but yeah, put me down. But this may have something to do with what she's talking about, the engagement, setting things up to contact people.
The
And
last point is that they will continue working with partners to explore creative solutions in coordination with the ag and forestry communities. So I certainly think they'll regard it as one of their duties to take part in our program, but we just have to decide what we want from them. But I think that with that kind of determination from the staff at the county, we can certainly get some assistance from the county.
yeah, right. They definitely wanted, and in fact, I mean, what I'm talking about is she wanted us to do input to whatever it is they're doing. They'll pass their stuff around, and we should comment or give them some input. And it sounds like the kind of stuff that you're talking about there, coming in contact with the different groups and updating them and all that kind of thing. As to and what kind of changes they need to make. But I guess part of what we want to get from them is what I think we need to start our meeting with, is about a one sentence description descriptor of exactly what the February seminar is about? You know, because I think right now we've got too much stuff, and it's, you know, I don't want it to be a hodgepodge of information overload that we give people. I'd like it to be kind of focused.
Yeah. I'm just writing down some. Oh, if we title it something like "Water 20 Years into the Millennium," how is water faring? Who is working on it? And then we have a good cast of characters, but as you said, we have almost too many. But we have Soil and Water Conservation District, we have the county, we have Southern Environmental Law Center. Travis sent us a nice 4 points of hi Linda, good to see you. You may be muted unless you're not trying to talk.
Yeah, you are muted. And then also we got something from Kirk Bowers.
Right. I can't remember, is he Sierra Club but anyway.
I'm not sure
Donna.
how he was coming to us. Which group? He didn't say.
Yeah. Donna Shaughnessy and someone else. The Sierra Club is doing a number of different things, and I think our challenge would be to tell them to just focus on one of them. They do monthly cleanups, you know, actually going along and pulling old tires out of the river and that sort of thing. And they also are concerned about the atomic energy plant, Lake Anna.
Right.
And
you know, back to the what do we want, you know, before what they're giving us, you know, what do we want to present to people? I guess I thought initially, and I don't know if it's too much. I you know, you mentioned again the water in the millennium, you know, that we were going to say summarize what that said things were like then and what it expected in the future. And then we were going to say, and the future is now, and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And then we were going to get different groups that are doing things saying what's happening now. Is that?
I just don't think we need to spend time on our old booklet. It was dealing a lot with water quantity issues, which we have since pretty much, we have a good plan for solving them. We just don't have the final pipeline. And I hope John Martin would be willing to give us 5 minutes because he's so passionate about that. I'm sure he could. But I would not want to waste time on reviewing what was in that booklet.
Okay.
It was good at the time, but but we could maybe point out that booklet points out how important groundwater is, and no one still is dealing with groundwater. We can ask him if that's true, but I think that is true. That
I mean, basically, we could use the fact that the league spent a lot of time studying this issue 20 years ago, and now we're looking again at what's happening today. You know, there's an intro like that. And
yeah, so I just think it gives a good title, sort of. Water 20 years into the millennium. How are we doing? Who is working on it? The challenge is going to be to talk all these people into talking for only 5 minutes.
Right. Well, I had another thought about that. There are two challenges. Again, it's the information overload. You know, if it's all coming at you fast and furious, it's going to be kind of crazy. But I was thinking that what they're presenting are basically two ways of looking at what's happening now, and one, well, actually three, and one is what government-related agencies, groups, organizations are doing, but the activists that we're contacting, they do advocacy and they do hands-on action. And my thought was, if we kind of broke it up into describing like advocacy and then hands-on action, if a group, and I think most of them do both things, maybe they could, come on twice. First we'll talk advocacy and they'll say what they're doing there, and then we'll talk hands-on action and they'll say what they're doing there, as opposed to having them say everything at once. Does that make sense? Because I'm just trying to think as a listener to this thing. I think I'd be going kind of bonkers trying to say, well, who said what about where?
That's an interesting approach, Muriel. I like that idea.
We could
Oh,
sort of say I to do the advocacy part, and then, call it practical or almost what can I as a citizen do other than encourage Omaha County staff to do certain things and encourage state legislature to change.
right, but but we also, I guess, in there.
And the what can we do, I'm picturing is, the cleanups happen every first Wednesday of the month and, whatever the situation is, but to get some real practical things down.
Right.
Pat, how good are you or our system in putting materials on the screen for everybody to see?
That's easily done. I just need to get, you need to send me either a document or a PDF file. And I'm sorry, Gordon's cooking. Gordon, can you kind of be real conscious of how much, thank you. What happens is I push
You
the
lend him
button,
out?
I push the button screen share, and then I can put anything on there. Now,
Does that mean that the people, how, if you, do they push, how does one of the presenters put something up?
Lots of times presenters bring their own stuff and then they can do the screen share.
They press screen share and put it up, because that's probably what we're going to have more of.
Yeah, and presenters are so accustomed to Zoom now, they all know that.
Do they? So, because I would hate to have us waste 3 minutes of every presentation while somebody tries to get their presentation on the screen.
Right.
And just don't quite know how to do it, and it just doesn't quite work. And gee, it worked yesterday, but it's not. Anyway, that's just deadly.
If they send it all to me ahead, I'll have it all queued up.
That strikes me as being a lot better.
Yeah,
and then that way we'd know how much there is too. We may not have enough time to put 100 things up on the screen. So that might be a good idea.
Plus, when it's on the screen, they can still be talking away, so that we're not wasting time.
Some people do PowerPoints and they, as they're talking, say you can go to the next slide. And then I push those buttons.
I think we should discourage that, because they aren't going to have enough time to do PowerPoints. They're really only going to be able to put up about 3 visuals at most. They can put it in PowerPoint format if they want, but it's not like they can do a whole slideshow.
What do you imagine them having even 3 pages of things? I'm trying to imagine if they really have that many slides or whatever you want to call them.
What do you mean, 3?
I mean,
Oh,
Well,
well,
what I
for example, the cleanup, they might want to show, this is stuff that we fished out last October. This is and then another slide with, this is the number of tons of stuff we've done in the last couple of years, and,
okay.
but we should discourage them from too much of that, because there are just too many people, and, it would really get.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you have to
bogged
do
down.
is be very definitive and concise about just how much time they'll have to be speaking.
Right.
And then they'll get it that they can't.
And one other thought I had too, that we should, and Zoom I think is going to be great for this, that we should say no questions during the presentations, but what people can do is they can write their questions in the chat. And then, so that way they won't forget their questions. And at the end, then we can go through all those questions.
Very good suggestion.
Yeah, I hope that, I think that would be a good use of Zoom. And so often questions are submitted in writing to things, so that might be the best way to do it.
I also would like to reinforce for you that at the bottom of the chat box, you can personally click to download the chat file on your own computer. You don't need to have that done. And if we remind people that they can do that, it would be helpful.
Right, yeah, let me just. So I think then that we have an idea of what we're doing. We're basically presenting people who are doing things about water now.
Yeah. I was just trying out the chat.
I know. I was just going to, when you did that, I'm going to put it there, and then, oh yeah, it's the little thing that says file at the bottom. Is that where that's where you put it?
Mine says chat.
Yeah, chat. And then
No, I meant if you bring up the chats, click on chat, and on the right hand side you'll have a screen where you bring up the chats.
Right.
At the bottom there's an icon that says file.
Oh, I see it.
And there is your computer is a choice at the bottom. I noticed there's Google Drive again.
Okay.
Microsoft
Well,
OneDrive.
What I'm using is the chat, and so questions pop up, and then they accumulate during a meeting, and we'll have to try to figure out what to do with if we get a lot of questions. But if they just kind of repeat, everyone is asking for better data, and then we can just
have somebody discuss that.
So is the seminar supposed to be an hour and a half, Pat? How long is it supposed to be?
You're on mute.
You definitely don't want to go over 2 hours, because then you start losing people's attention. People can't stand more than
Well, if we
90
had
to 100 minutes.
Yeah.
If we had Soil and Water Conservation District, the county, Southern Environmental Law Center, PEC, Cook Bowers, Donna Shaughnessy, Groundwater, somebody, John Martin, Rivanna Conservation Alliance, Health Department. I'm just sticking that in. That's 10. And everybody would have 5-6 minutes, and you would have covered. all of those, and then we would have the chat questions to go through for half an hour. I think that's all that people can stand of a Zoom meeting. But
You have to be respectful of that reality. And I think that 10, personally, I think 10 people contributing is too many.
I do too, but I don't know how you would cut it.
well,
You
part of
kind
what we want to
have to look
show is that there are lots of people working on this. So that's why I was thinking that having all those different people.
Yeah, as long as when you ask those people, you say, we're doing a 2-hour for, tell them exactly what you're doing and what you want from them so
Yeah.
that they get it, that they don't have to do this long presentation. You essentially want them to just highlight and do
Right.
it.
Well, yeah, they are now the county, though. We haven't talked to these people, the county and the Soil and Water Conservation District. But the responses that we are getting from the environmental activist community are very conscious of the fact that, you know, we only want a few things and 5 minutes worth of stuff. You know,
Oh,
and
okay,
that's what
great.
we're getting from them. But
Great.
we are going to
Okay, so we want the highlights, but we've got to finish that sentence. What is it we want the highlights of? I think that's kind of what Pat's getting at. We got to be really good in our direction. So we want the highlights of waters, this, is it?
The action that they're taking.
Yeah. What actions are they taking to protect water now?
Yeah, exactly. Personally, I would find that refreshing because so many times you hear people expounding on problems and how broad the problems are and possible solutions. But if you give people, it would really be a moment of sunshine if you give people,
Right.
so this is what you can do, you know.
10 different people telling you.
I think it's powerful.
Right. Yeah, and in fact, that's why we sort of do need the 10 people, because we have to show how large and broad this
Mhm.
Yeah, shouldn't they have one
this
sentence?
activity is.
Shouldn't we challenge them to say in one sentence what the main problem is with that
Or-
they see with water related problem and what they, and then the rest of their 5 minutes, the highlights of actions taking to protect water quality, water now.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
we need-
actually, that's a good idea. Like, don't just come up with your actions without telling us why you're doing them. So yeah, what is, you know, what needs to be worked on and what are you doing?
I think that the idea of challenging them to have an initial one sentence, what the problem is, will make them really think and be concise
Yeah.
and help us in the what we're trying to do here.
Yeah,
Right, especially the one sentence.
because it's sort of like when you people are tired of this sort of exercise now, but you used to be challenged to have an elevator speech. You know, what can you say in the time it takes the elevator? And if you live in Charlottesville, of course, that's a pretty short speech. I think we may have one of the longest elevators in the county, and it's 6 floors. So, but anyway, yeah, so it's like an elevator speech, but it's one sentence of what is the main problem with water. I keep stumbling over the word
Action.
quality because sometimes it's water quantity rather than quality, but mostly I think people are working on water quality.
Or is it
Well, I
protect?
guess, could we just say quality or quantity or both?
Yeah.
What about protection? No,
What,
Yes.
yeah, in
Highlights of action
protecting.
taken
Yeah, I
to
was thinking
protect
in water,
water now.
protection was, but yeah, in protecting water.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point that Linda makes, including that word protection within that short, within this short time frame, again, will jog the speaker's thought process in terms of becoming more concise and brief.
So one sentence, what is the main problem with water quality or quantity in our district? And then the highlights of actions you are taking to protect water now. So really an emphasis on protect.
Cool, I like it.
And then we could try this out on someone like Travis of SELC and see how.
Yeah, well, he just has to have the problem. He certainly, he did it in what, one maybe a run-on sentence, but he did it in about 5 sentences. And
Read that out.
in
If you've got
fact,
it
what
in
he
front of you,
called it.
Muriel.
Hmm?
Read it out if you've got it for the other.
Okay, yeah, I have it here. But I was going to say what he called it was recent and ongoing local work related to water quality. What he answered, to our question. He said now he's doing it just related to water quality. But what he said is SELC is engaging in the development of climate action plans for Albemarle County and Charlottesville. Among other things, we are encouraging strong strategies to protect and enhance natural resiliency features, such as stream buffers, wetlands, and forests that serve as carbon sinks and help to store and absorb floodwaters, while also providing significant co-benefits for water quality. So he was actually runoff is a major part of the whole water issue, and that's what he was addressing here. And then he said SELC has participated in Albemarle County's ongoing consideration of ordinance changes and policies to improve stream health. While the county has taken a couple of initial steps to improve its development area protections, some of this work has been delayed due to COVID-related staffing constraints. The county is starting to consider potential improvements in its rural area stream protections as well. So again, he was implying, I guess, that they've been pushing them for that. And then lastly, we also plan to engage in updates to the Charlottesville and Albemarle comprehensive plans, as well as to continue to keep an eye on proposed ordinance changes and other proposals in our region that may have significant impacts on water quality. So that's basically showing what they do as advocacy for water, I think, and that's it.
Yep.
So I think he could easily say that, in 5 minutes.
That's within our paradigm that we're creating here.
And I think most people could, and I think it's important that every now and then people do stop and think, well, what is our purpose? And
I agree.
And state it clearly. So yeah, I think they can do it. If they can't, if they feel they can't, well, then they can't.
Yeah.
Participate, I guess.
They can decline the invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all should know that it's much harder to say something short than it is to say something long. I mean,
Right.
Absolutely.
all you have to do is be told by the Board of Supervisors that instead of 3 minutes, they're only going to let you have 2 minutes tonight.
Yep.
You have learned that lesson. Even 3 minutes is a major challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think maybe what it says is in general, they should have it written in advance, and read it, even though it may not sound as exciting being read, they can have timed themselves then.
Yeah, at least we can say it's okay if you read it, because sometimes people think they need permission to
Right.
read it as opposed to saying it more, what is the word? Anyway, extemporaneously, yeah.
I
Those
would
couple of
like
it.
to have in advance their names, the organizations, and how they can be reached. And I will put that in the chat box so that the participants in the seminar, when they record the chat box, they will have all that information in case they
Good.
call these folks to volunteer.
Yeah, that's great. And that way, yeah, they have a starting point for what they've heard too.
So
Exactly.
then how do you save what was in the chat? Do you click file?
At the very bottom, there's two little boxes. One says file,
Mhm,
and next to it is a box with three little dots.
mhm.
If you click the box with three little dots,
Oh, okay. I
it
clicked that one.
says save.
Isn't that clever?
And
then
you
what-
have it.
And where do they save it to?
Well, mine ends up
Shows
on
in
my
Finder.
desktop screen. Yeah.
Shows up in Finder. Oh,
Yeah.
If you click on file, it has the Dropbox, the Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, something box, and your computer.
Yep. Yeah, put it on your computer. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. That's where you want it saved. Two.
yeah, because I can't find it in Finder. That might be a little
Yeah,
indirect. So
Let me save what's here, and I'll see what happens. Or did you do that?
no, I put it in where the three little dots are, and then so if I put
Okay,
it,
if you click on your computer, actually what it does do, it opens, in my case, I've got an old Microsoft operating system. It opens the documents folder. But you can just go and choose your own folder.
yeah,
Yep.
mine isn't doing anything at the moment. I clicked.
Oh, it isn't?
I clicked your computer.
And nothing came up?
And
And you froze, I think.
no, then it's supposed to come up in doc.
I have an iMac and documents comes up for me.
Right. Yeah, I'm using Windows 7 operating system, and I get my documents folder. Their documents folder. I never use
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I just clicked on it and it said save chat, and then it said it saved it to my file.
Yeah,
without telling you where?
yeah.
But I think if you click file first, then you determine where it will be saved to.
Mine's saying Dropbox, OneDrive.
Oh, right.
Yeah, me too.
But down at the
Okay, it just took it a little while, but then it did come up in my documents.
Oh,
when
good.
when I said your computer file and then your computer, and then I clicked on that, and it took a little while, but it's now showing as in my documents something called Zoom,
Yep.
which I of course can relabel,
Yep.
and I can open that.
Yeah, so you're talking about some kind of an Apple product
Yes.
also.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And so we can tell people that And we can also tell them that early on so that they don't have to take notes if they want to just record what people put in chat.
That's a very good point, Sally. Tell them up front and
Um,
have them look for the little file in the chat so they know how to do it.
Well, yeah,
And then sometimes master naturalist, if they're screen sharing something and we're interested, we just take a picture of it with our phone. If, there's a,
Right. Yeah, right. Just do a print screen.
well, that's another way.
Yeah, that
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
so what day is this and what time is it? And do we tell log on
It's
15 minutes?
February
on.
21st, I think.
I'm looking. I'm in my little handbook.
I'm guessing February 21st, 2 to 4, I think. The last, does that?
Yeah, I don't have it on my calendar, so we will put this on my calendar.
That's weird. I don't have the calendar in
Oh,
the.
it's here. I got the book in another room. Just
I've got the book, but I'm trying to find it in the book. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sunday seminars, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. I just found it. I found it. It's on the second page. That's why I didn't. February 21.
Okay, because the 14th is Valentine's Day. We wouldn't want
Yeah.
that.
February 21, and we usually do them like 2 to 4, or we could do them 3 to 5, whatever you want.
Let's do 2 to 4. In theory, I have a recorder group at 4, the musical instrument recorder. But
Okay.
it hasn't met for a year, so it probably won't be starting in February, but we can always hope.
Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect.
At 2 p.m.
Okay, so February 21st.
yeah. So that gives us an hour for the presentations, I think, like you said. So it's
Yeah.
10 minutes, and the maximum. 10 people, and the maximum is going to be 6 minutes. Better yet, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to save a lot of time by what Pat is suggesting. They're going to have their name and contact information in the chat box so everyone can see it and it'll be saved. We're going to have them send ahead of time anything they want on the screen so that Pat can put it up for them so that we're not spending time because
Switching from one to another.
our Lewis and Clark Exploratory Center, we put on a nationwide Zoom conference and it worked really well, but darn it if those UVA faculty who do it all the time still had to say, well, now how do let's see, I know I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, anyway, it just took only half a minute, but still on our schedule, half a minute is wasted time. So if we get them to send anything they want on the screen to Pat.
Yep.
And as well as that information about the name, organization, and best contact information.
Now that contact information, like we're talking about putting that in the chat box. Can we actually have that all and just post it before, like as the meeting starts or something?
We can. I can actually send that out to everybody who signs up for the.
But you also
we'll make it a an event. A Sunday seminar event, and there'll be invitations sent out membership wide, and whoever signs up to attend the event via Zoom, then I send them the Zoom link. When I send them the Zoom link, I can attach any kind of information that you would like included, and one of those could be a PDF printout of the presenters,
right?
How to contact
in fact,
them.
that's general information that we don't want to give all the information, but that's general information that we're going to need to have to publicize it anyway.
Yeah.
But for example, we could just put the organizations in that, and, because to list all those names and organizations in the advertising would get kind of.
Yeah, it
Lose
gets,
it, Muriel, because I think the more information we put out there, the more the organizations would like it. So I was thinking of the presenter's name, the organization's name, and the best contact information.
In
and
our
we can-
general announcement, like in the lead newsletter.
oh,
No.
that'll be included in the invitation in the event. Eventbrite is what we use, okay, to create an event. And when we create that event, there's like 3 boxes of information. And one of those boxes can just be a list of the presenters, their name, their organization, and their email, or something like that.
Where is that box? You make these 3 boxes, but how do you see them?
How do you?
How do you see them? I mean, where are they?
Like for instance, we just sent one out for the Sunday seminar this Sunday. Okay.
Oh,
And there's a significant amount of information in that event information in the box.
Did it come from you, Pat? I'm looking it up.
It came from the League of Women Voters. It
Okay.
might be in your junk email because it went out in the newsletter. And we're finding that the newsletter now, a lot of carriers are kicking it into junk mail. So
yeah, I know. I found mine in junk mail, not in junk mail, promotions.
promotions, yeah,
Um,
promotions.
yeah, that's where I found, now I can't find it. I don't know, I
Yeah.
probably took it out of there. I can't find it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Oh dear.
that's good to know. I'll resend it.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I definitely saw it.
Was it today or yesterday?
I sent it out Sunday.
That's 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent out both separate Eventbrite invitation, and it's also in the newsletter too. There's a link to it in the newsletter also. Probably it's on our website too.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got it here. I've got the invitation.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, no, I take it back. That's not, that's for the board meeting.
I shouldn't send so much stuff
Oh,
on the
wait,
same day.
here's the
Got it.
webinar.
I
Yeah.
got
Is it called the January DEI? No, that's not it. That's
It's called the Election Study Update Part 2.
right. No,
Sunday
I
I
seminar.
did
remember
not.
seeing it.
Huh. I just have the January newsletter.
Okay, so on the front page of the January newsletter, do you see the event? It's the first thing.
Yeah, January 10th.
Yep. So if you were to click on it, it will take you to the event invitation. And when you see that event invitation, it will have a significant amount of information on there.
Hmm.
Invitation. No, that's to us.
Oh, click here for tickets.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you send the information about all these people way ahead of time,
Yeah.
They'll
I'm-
lose it.
I'm kind of wondering about, it's still have been a good idea to have a little box of the information.
Oh, I'll still put it on chat box.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That'd be good.
Simply because most, so many folks within our audience don't have so much computer savvy and saving savvy. So if I put it in the chat box and they know they have the information that day and a copy of the questions, you know, it'll be right there.
Well, I don't see it. It may be I put it on my calendar and didn't save the rest of it. Sorry.
I'll resend it to you. That'll take me a few minutes though.
Yeah, you can do that later, maybe. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Right now we need to divide up our duties here.
Now, I can't remember. I thought I had some kind of problem with Eventbrite. And I don't remember what it was. It may not have been with us.
Yeah, people don't like the idea of having to click tickets because then they get all, what's the word I want? They're afraid they're committing to something. And even though it says free, they don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason we send it is because it's going out membership wide. If we know who's coming, then we target those people with the information they will need to enhance their experience of that meeting, rather than sending all of this information out to everybody in the league, because people in the league have expressed irritation with getting too many emails. So it's hard to find a balance with sending out, you know, enough information, but not too much. So, and the other reason for doing it through Eventbrite is so that you don't get Zoom hacked, because there's people, if they get a hold of the Zoom link, will cut into your meeting and, you know, do weird things like put on porn pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now wait, Eventbrite though is using Zoom.
No, it's separate. It's not a Zoom function at all.
Well,
Eventbrite is
what
Eventbrite.
we're talking about, it works exactly the same. There's a chat, you know, we're talking about doing Zoom stuff here.
You're conflating Eventbrite and Zoom.
Yes, I'm confused. What, I mean, if we're going to be using Eventbrite, can we do the stuff we've been talking about?
Yes, we can still do it all. And what I do is create redundancy, especially for our audience. So we'll put the information of the speakers on the Eventbrite on the event. You know, we're inviting you to this event, this Sunday seminar event. The speakers will be, and there's the list. You know, the topic will be, you know, and here are our speakers. And then on the day of the event, into the chat box, I will type in all that information again.
But so Eventbrite has a chat box.
No. Once we're in the Zoom meeting, you know.
And so wait,
The
Eventbrite just handles the invitations.
That's correct. And
Yes.
once people essentially click the ticket link, you know, then I send them the link to the Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay, it comes separately.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know. I tried to get into some events. I think I tried one of the Sunday seminars and I didn't get it through Eventbrite. And I tried one of the Virginia Green New Deal things and I wasn't able to get in there either. And I gave up on it.
So remember, if you get anything from Eventbrite that you want to attend, you click ticket. And if it's, you know, a paid ticket, then they'll, you know, do this is how you pay.
Yeah, I clicked.
But if it's a
clicked
free
ticket.
ticket and it's an online event,
Right.
then you eventually receive the link for the meeting.
Yeah, I think.
And then what I
happens-
do is I send, once I get a ticket request on the league email site from Eventbrite, I send them the link. And then the day before the event and the morning of the event, I resend out that link. Because people lose, where did I save that? Where did I put it? Where was that email? Because a lot of people have a lot of different email accounts now. I have 4 different accounts that I
So
use every
then-
day.
What exactly is the purpose of Eventbrite?
It's
To
to
keep people out.
to keep people out from bombing or hacking into our Zoom meeting and
But they're
creating
not-
havoc.
They have no control over the Zoom meeting.
Well-
They may be hacking, the URL, but they're not Eventbrite is no longer controlling it. Once you click on the URL, you go into Zoom just like any Zoom.
That's
right?
right. That's right.
So somewhere Eventbrite is supposedly making it more secure, although I don't quite see where.
Well, because if I get a ticket request on Eventbrite from somebody that I don't know, then I go, well, I'm not necessarily going to send them that link until I know who they are and why they want to go. That's only happened once. Then it's incumbent upon me to sort that out.
That's great, Pat. You're putting yourself into a lot of
Yes.
effort, but I really
A lot of
appreciate
stuff.
it. Yeah, I only know of one experience, but apparently it was a really awful one of somebody bombing a meeting with
Yeah.
with
It can be really
Right.
awful. And
Yeah.
I keep in touch with other leagues about Zoom meetings and how to do it. And there's video tutorials and warnings and all of this sort of thing. And I attend that stuff pretty regularly to keep us protected.
Hey, guys, I gotta go, but let me,
Well,
what I can do to help. I don't feel like I'm very helpful.
Linda, it
yeah, well,
occurs,
I think we all,
can I make an assignment to Linda?
Yes.
An
Go ahead.
assignment. If you remember, Treva Cromwell always talked to us a lot about groundwater, and it seems to me no one talks about groundwater anymore. But I assume that the only people who are really keeping track of, if anyone is, or aware of health problems in our groundwater would be the health department. I wonder if you could try to track that down and see who in the health department knows anything about groundwater, and
Okay.
if they could do the 5-minute, what's the problem and what are you doing about it?
Oh, okay.
'Cause that's a total unknown to
Okay. So I'll check with the health department and see if I can find somebody and see if they will participate.
Yeah.
in the program.
right. With,
All right.
yeah, with just a 5-minute statement about
Yeah.
what their problems are and what our
Okay.
problem is and how they're addressing it.
yeah, Linda's got that.
And let me tell you, remember we used to do these seminars, whatever we called it back then. And it was the Treva Cromwell.
Yes, I sure do.
And it kind of makes me wonder if we should stick her name on this because it's water.
Yeah,
I forget what we called it.
I think it was the Treva Cromwell Memorial Lectures. I can't remember about that last word, whether it was lectures or not. But yeah, I know we had some of them out at Ivy Creek,
Yeah.
natural area, the barn there, or the meeting building there.
Yeah.
And it was, we all felt like Treva was smiling down at us as we did it, because it was the sort of thing she would have been wanting us to carry on with. Yeah, well, if we
Okay,
don't
good.
put her name
Okay,
on the
well,
title,
yeah,
we-
thank you, Linda. Thank you for coming.
yeah,
Sorry it was so hard for me to get on. But anyway,
glad
take
to-
care and keep me posted on, and I'll get
Wait.
back.
good, okay.
Great.
right.
Yeah, and we will have to work on it on over email too, I think. Like, we don't have a title yet either, so there'll be lots to do.
Linda, if you'd like, I can send you a link to a recording of this meeting today, so that
Oh, I can hear
If-
what else happens.
if you want, well, there won't be that much more, but if you want to reference back or something, you'll
Okay,
have that link,
that'd
okay?
be fun.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
I don't do, I haven't gotten into the editing of these meetings because
Oh,
it's
please
very
don't.
time consuming.
Oh, yes.
And I do so many of them with all the other different groups, so it's difficult. So,
Thank you.
okey doke.
Yeah, that's what, when I was talking about editing before, I was thinking each group is going to have a couple of people who know how to do it. You know, I
Well,
can remember doing it in the past, and I'm sure it's a lot easier now. It was awful then, but all we really need to do is chop off the front and put in a title, I think, you know, and
yeah,
otherwise everything that I've gotten has looked good.
yeah. It's just that beginning time of the meeting when there's not too much going on
Mhm.
needs to get edited out. And like you said, a face page for it. So, well, that's on my list, Muriel.
Yeah, but I mean, you shouldn't have to do it. Like I said, each group that's using it should be able to, somebody should be able to do it.
Well,
Or are you afraid? Yeah, I mean, the other thing is,
then they
when I
have to,
used to do stuff with computers, I was always afraid of too many people, especially databases, handling the thing because.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If other people have access into the league website, then there's the possibility for hacking and worms and computer
More
viruses.
accidental destruction.
Yeah, all of the above. So it's a challenge, you know.
Okay, I suggest,
So we need our own to-do lists also.
I'm suggesting that Muriel, you and I try to get on, we can just maybe do it by email, but try to get together with Liz and make sure she doesn't have a